From time to time, we will face in our lives difficult situations. We'll face crisis from time to time. And this is life. Life is not a stroll in a park. From time to time, you're going to face difficulties. You're going to face crisis, either personally, in your life, in your health, or the loss of a loved one, or something of that nature. But at some point or time, there's going to be some kind of tribulation, some kind of crisis, some kind of difficulty in your life. And you have to be patient with these obstacles. You have to be patient with these difficulties. You have to be patient with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws at you. And this is the topic of today's khutbah, inshallah, having patience, having sabr. And we find a beautiful example in a woman named Sulaim. And she became Muslim. And her husband was against Islam. Her husband didn't really like this faith of hers, and her husband was very anti-Islam. And she one day, she came to him and she said, I have some news for you that you're not going to like. And he said, what now? What's the bad news now? What's the new thing in the religion now? What can you do now? What do you have to do now? What is it that's new? And she said, and he said, you keep on bringing more bad news from this man, who you call a prophet, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And she said, he is not a man, but he is somebody who Allah has chosen, and Allah has selected, and Allah has made him a prophet. So she corrected him. It's not just a man, any old man. I'm not following a man, but I'm following a prophetic individual who has the light and nuwar and nubuwwah, the light of prophecy on his face. And he said, okay, what's new? What do you have to tell me now? And she said that alcohol, khamr, alcohol now is impermissible. And he got very angry and he said, this is it, finished. The last straw, you and I divorced. I've had enough of this new religion. We can't drink. And he divorced her. And she was patient. She was patient because she knew that what was coming was going to be better. She sacrificed. And he died in a very bad way. His death wasn't in a very good state. Then some time afterwards, a particular man called Abu Talha, who was a very good man, a very generous man, a very honest, good-hearted man. And he came to her and he said, oh, Sulaim. And he proposed to her. And she said, well, you know, I'm not looking to get married from you because you don't share my faith. And he said to her, well, look, I'm going to give you some wealth. I'll give you some wealth, have some wealth. And she said, look, how about you do something else? How about you go and you go and become Muslim? All you have to say is these words, I believe, I testify there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is a messenger. And you don't have to give me any wealth, any gold, any silver, any meher. My dowry is your shahada. And he said, okay, what do I have to do? And she said to him, all you've got to do is go to the Prophet ﷺ and say these words. So she sent her son, Anas, with him, and he took him to the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet, when he saw him, he became very happy, and he said, هَذَا أَبُو طَلْحَةَ بَيْنَ عَيْنَيْهِ عِزَّةُ الْإِسْلَامِ. Here is Abu Talha. In his eyes, I can see the dignity of Islam. Meaning the Prophet said, I can see this man, he's going to become Muslim. And he came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he took his shahada. He took it and he became Muslim. And then he went and they spent some time with his wife, and then Allah blessed them with a child. She became pregnant and they had a child. And this child was called Nu'ayr. And he was such a beautiful child that Abu Talha was so happy with his child. This is his apple, the apple of his eye. And one day, and this is what happens, things happen. One day, the child died. This young boy, who was the pride and joy, the apple of his eye, the happiness in his life, he passed away all of a sudden. And this will happen to you. Some people here might have lost a child. Their wives might have had a miscarriage, or might have lost a young one. So, look at the mother, Sulaim, who's an example of patience. She controlled herself, and when he came home, he asked, "Where's my son?" And she said, "He's in a good place." And she prepared a nice meal for him. And she became, after the meal, they spent some time with each other. And after that, without any effects on her face, without giving anything away, she said to him, "Look, what do you say if a people have took a loan from somebody? Somebody that has given a loan to a group of people for a period of time, a particular object, for a period of time to use. And then when that time finishes, the owners want to take back what's theirs. Do they have any right, the people who borrowed, do they have any right to get angry?" And her husband said, "No, they shouldn't get angry. If it doesn't belong to them, if they've been given something for a period of time to look after, to respect, and the owners want it back, then they should give it back. They have no right." And she said, "Well, your son, who does not belong to you, does not belong to me, but belongs to God, who Allah Azza wa Jalla gave us as a gift. Allah has taken him back." And he got up, and he said, "Where's my son?" And she took him to the room, and he was in the house, covered underneath a blanket. And he went, and he removed the blanket from the face of his son, and he saw his son. And his reaction is a reaction that we need to have when faced with crisis. And he said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." From Allah, from God we have come, and from God we will return. This is what our Prophet has told us. In a crisis, in tribulation, we have difficulty in our life, we should say these words. From God we have come, and to Allah we're going to go back. And when you say these words will give you some control and will ease your pain. And he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told the Prophet what his wife had done, that she kept quiet, she controlled herself, she made a nice meal, they spent some time with each other, and then she gently, in a nice way, told him the devastating news. Look at the patience of this woman. And more importantly, where's your patience and my patience? How would we react in these situations? How would we react to these difficulties? And the Prophet ﷺ then made a big prayer and prayed for them and told them that they, because of their intimacy last night, that she bears a child, and this child is because of the patience that she had with the difficulty. She spent the whole night keeping her pain inside, trying to keep her husband happy and breaking the news in a good way. And we have doctors and people of professions who deal with death, and they're taught how to break news to people. And even they sometimes can't control themselves due to the difficulty. But look at Sulaim, and the Prophet made a big dua, and the Prophet then said, "This child is going to be a blessed child, and when this child is born, bring him to me." And the child was brought when he was born. And the Prophet made a big dua and took some dates and put some dates in the child's mouth and made a prayer for the child. And they say that this child became such a blessed, a good, a righteous child, an obedient child. And not only he, but even his children, he had several children that all became obedient, good examples of good, upright children. So this is the patience that we need to have. We're not saying this is easy. Dealing with death, dealing with losing your job, with losing your health, with marital problems, with whatever thing you're going through, you need to have patience. Because realistically, how long is it going to last for? A year or two, maybe 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to forget. It'll be a distant memory. And you're going to forget maybe the pain, mostly. inshallah ta'ala. But we need to have this type of patience. Think about Sulaim. Think about your husband. Think about what she had to go through that night in controlling herself. So that when you have difficulties in your job, when you have difficulties with your wife, remember Sulaim, how she had the patience. And how Allah rewarded her for her patience. Allah gave her which was better. She had a husband that wasn't good. Allah gave her a better husband. A husband who didn't like to drink alcohol. He wasn't a drunk. And Allah gave her Abu Talha, a good man. And then she lost her child, and Allah gave her a child that was perhaps even better. So, inna ma'al usri yusra. With every difficulty, there's ease. With every difficulty, there's ease. Inshallah, many of our brothers and sisters sitting here, and many of our brothers far afield, they're in difficulty. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make things easy and give them patience and make them a shakirin. Because you can have patience, you need to have shukr. Be patient with what Allah has given you, but be thankful. Thank Allah that it could have been worse. There's always somebody worse than you. If you're having a difficulty in your life, know that maybe the person next to you, on your right, on your left, or in the next room, maybe he's in a more difficult situation than yourself. There's always somebody else worse off than you and in a more difficult situation. So thank Allah that Allah has given you what He has given you, and you thank your lucky stars that it could have been worse. And ask Allah that Allah lift whatever difficulty you have. Allah lifts it quickly and with ease and gives you reward and Jannah with that ease, inshallah ta'ala. And finally, there's a letter from the MP, Stephen Doughty. He said that he was discussing this issue of money transferring money from this country to other countries, and how the government now is looking to stop hawala, money transfer to other countries. And he debated in the parliament, and he fought his case to stop the banning of these transactions. And he's given us photocopies of how the debate went, and anybody wants copies of that debate, then if you want to come to our office and speak to our chairman, Jawad Salman, inshallah ta'ala, he has copies of the debate, inshallah ta'ala. And we ask Allah, Allah makes things easy. We have sabr. Many of our brothers and sisters, our families, we can't send money to them because of some of our young people causing problems and doing acts of terrorism, and they spoil it for everybody else. And that's why we can't send our money. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah gives us sabr and shukr with this. ويرفع عنا وعنهم إن شاء الله.